Welcome back to the second channel, the Thoughts and Feels channel, where I give you a little more reflections since the main review stuff is all the facts and performance. And this is a continuation of the guns that changed me. Over the last 9 years, I've reviewed over 400 handguns and spent over 60 full days in national and international level major schoolings, trying different guns each time because I'm a student of the gun forever. All those experiences have given me some opinions and sort of directed what I like and don't like. Now on the main channel I try to keep my likes and don't likes out of the way, and that's part of why our review format is the way it is. My opinion doesn't really matter in that review format. I show you facts and performance. This next one, that gun that changed me, is a Grand Power XCalibur. This is a Mark 12 model. I have several X-Caliburs. This was the first, and it was one of my earliest, believe it or not, review guns. Terrible video. I look back and think, wow, I didn't really know what I was doing. I lucked out so much to get my hands on an X-Calibur. But at the time, nobody took few people took Grand Power very seriously. It was kind of an unknown brand that was seeking attention, and so me being willing to take it is how I got it. This thing, and yeah, I ended up keeping the gun. 5-inch fluted bull barrel. Let me see if I can get the camera to focus the right length there. Here we go. Look at that beauty. And if you have missed my 80-something videos on Grand Powers, the barrel rotates. It's a different action type. It's not the Browning tilting barrel. And at the time, I didn't know enough to really compute, but I noticed that this gun was incredibly smooth to shoot. Now, part of that is you've got the weight of a bull barrel, and then a just spectacular single action trigger. That's it. And even the double action is smooth enough that I'm able to do this with my left hand from across the gun. It's meant to be a competition model, but it introduced me to a different action type. Most guns, the overwhelming majority of them, use the Browning tilting barrel action like you've probably seen on your gun. And that's just kind of the status quo. Grand Power decided to go with this rotating barrel action, and as a result, the barrel's not coming back, down, up, forward with each cycle. You have that weight abruptly shifting and the locking and unlocking happening. With this, it's totally smooth. Really nice. They changed the action type for the Mark 23s, the ones that are currently on the market. I've got videos on that, don't worry, in the article. But this was my exposure to a non-Browning action, and it was smoother. It shot nicer, and it fueled my interest in unconventional action types, or at least anything other than the Browning action, because they do feel different. And the more you shoot and the better of a shooter you become, the more you feel things like that and how it impacts your recoil control. I've had buddies like David the Humble Marksman, who are well-versed, great shooters, who spent most of their time on a Browning action, pick up something like this or different and find they have to change their recoil control because the gun's the mechanical movement and shifting and everything that's happening while you're shooting is different with one of these. Now that's a high-level shooter thing. Medium and lower level shooter, you'll probably just find that it shoots smoother, or that you're more accurate, or that you're able to shoot accurately more quickly because of less shifting. Companies, as I understand it, go with the Browning tilting barrel action because it's cheap to make, very easy to make, and it's very well proven and just kind of a norm. You can run it and nobody bats an eye. Going to any other action type requires some engineering, opens up potential sensitivity to ammo, and a big struggle for European companies like this is the ammunition they're using over there has 10% higher pressure in 9mm than most of what we shoot here in America. So if you build a gun or an action type design based on that hotter ammo, and then you put some soft stuff, those of you that see my range load review on GBGunsDepot.com know that even our softer stuff can vary by over 30% in energy, which means the action might get picky. And all it takes is for a couple people to have trouble shooting their gun, and go on the internet and say that their gun doesn't work to start ruining reputation. So it was a big gamble. Fortunately, this thing runs really well. For me, it changed how I looked at pistols, and it started my seeking and going after stuff that's unique and different. Because people who say, it looks like a Glock, yeah, you're right. Polymer striker fired Browning tilting barrel action, there's a billion of them, and they're all very similar. There are some that are better than others, but it does get a little boring, especially if you're like me and you spend all of your non-work time doing gun stuff. You get another one sent in for review. Yay, that's great. Gotta feed the beast, gotta make content. But at the same time, it's like, wow, this is probably going to shoot just like the last 6 that are reviewed. Whereas a different action type spices things up a little bit. If you are at the level of shooter where you're comfortable at your skill level, which technically we should never be, we should always strive to improve, but if you're a comfortable, accomplished shooter, I highly encourage you to go after some of the alternative firearm setups out there, because it really is interesting, especially if you're into mechanical things. I am definitely not an engineer, but I've been exposed to enough of it to appreciate physics and math that I don't have to do because someone else did. They accomplish the same thing as something else, but provide a different experience to the shooter. That's what I think is really cool about it. So that's how the Grand Power XCalibur changed me. It also, as many of you know, changed my carry options. That'll be another video someday. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.